All right, let's begin here. President Cyril Ramaphosa says he's deeply saddened by the helicopter crash that killed Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi, Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian and other officials.
Raisi died in the crash in eastern Azerbaijan while returning to Iran.
Ramaphosa has also offered his condolences to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Vice President Mohammad Mokoena has taken over as an interim leader, and elections must be held within the next 50 days.
Dr. Saeed Ebrahim Raisi was born on December 14, 1960, in Mashhad in the northeast of Iran. As a young man, he took part in the 1979 revolution, which removed the Western-supported government in Tehran. Raisi wore a black turban, signifying his descent from the family of Prophet Muhammad.
It's indeed a tragedy, unexpected and very unfortunate. It is going to have big implications, I think, for the country and for the region. And any loss of life is to be, is to be regretted.
Raisi was a cleric, prosecutor, and politician. He was a central figure in the mass execution of thousands of political prisoners in 1988. In the 2017 presidential elections, Raisi took second spot and lost to President Hassan Rouhani. He eventually won the polls in 2021. Raisi also came to South Africa for the recent BRICS summits after Tehran joined the bloc.
Without any doubt, the decision made by the members of BRICS for expanding this group was a commendable move that paves the ground for the global expansion within the framework of justice, and the benefits of Iran's membership to BRICS is going to make history and open a new chapter and a stronger step towards justice, fairness, ethics, and sustainable and lasting peace on the international stage.
Raisi said Tehran treasured its ties with Africa.
In each and every one of these times, the good efforts and determination of South Africa for bring about more cooperation, not just in the BRICS but also in the African continent, is praiseworthy. And the African continent is one of the main capitals of the global South, and there is this culture diversity, ethnic diversity, richness, and also the languages, and also natural attractions and the rich mineral resources. These have all made this continent distinct from others. Fortunately, the political and economic weight of the African continent is increasing on a daily basis, and the most important portion of the future of the world.
The Iranian President and Foreign Affairs Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian and several officials went to East Azerbaijan province to inaugurate 2 construction projects. And on his return from the event at Oiz-Kalasi Dam, his helicopter crashed. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says they are devastated.
We're really saddened by the unexpected terrible death of President Raisi and the foreign minister. We have passed our condolences to the supreme leader of Iran and to the people of Iran. This is really a blow to them because he was a highly respected leader in Iran, and we got to meet him when I was deputy president on my visit to Iran, and we had really good discussions, and that laid a very good basis and foundation for the good relations between South Africa and Iran. And he also came to South Africa during the BRICS summit.
It is a very sad day for the Islamic Ummah. We are all very sad, and so are the Muslims in the great country of Turkey, Pakistan, and Islamic Ummah on the sad demise of His Excellency the President of Iran.
These were just the last moments before Raisi's aircraft crashed. The Iranian embassy in South Africa says Ayatollah Sayyid Ebrahim Raisi was a revolutionary, a man of God, and a lifelong champion of freedom and justice. A number of world leaders have expressed their shock following the death of President Raisi and some key figures of the Iranian government. Kailihle Kumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.
For more on this story now, we're joined in studio by our international news editor, Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thank you so much for your time this evening. I mean, let's talk about how important was Iranian president, particularly in the region, especially when we look at the current challenges in the Middle East.
Well, you heard earlier on the foreign ministers of Pakistan and also of Turkey talking about the role that he played in the region, particularly at this crucial moment where you have this tension in the Middle East. And he was firmly behind Palestine. We know that it was only a few weeks ago where we saw Iran launching attack on Israel after diplomats were killed in Syria, but these were Iran's diplomats, and therefore you can see that he had a good relationship with Palestine. But secondly, a very important player in relation with the oil sector in terms of supplying oil to other countries. But also, as you heard earlier on, the important issue was that he was also a voice of the people in the region, particularly within the BRICS nations. And therefore, you can see that he had this relationship with the regions. There were other countries that didn't see eye to eye with him, but majority of the Muslim countries or the Arab League, he was part of leaders of the Arab League, really had strong relations with him. And he was strengthening his relationship with China, but also with countries such as Turkey, to ensure that there's unity and cohesion among the Arab League.
And what impact, is his passing likely to have, particularly on the administration of that country?
Not much, as you know that the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, is the man in charge. And in terms of even the foreign policy, it's dictated by the head of that country, that is the supreme leader. And therefore, you give support to whatever decisions that are communicated by the supreme leader. And therefore, in terms of policy direction, in terms of what's happening in that country, he pointed out yesterday, the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, that not much is going to change. It will be business as usual. At that time, there were speculations that he has passed on, but him saying that even at that critical moment when it's not clear what was happening, there will be continuity. As you know, that the constitution of Iran dictates that should the president be incapacitated or passed on, the first vice president has to take over. And as we saw this morning, the announcement that the first vice president is now in charge. And therefore, in 50 days, they will be going to elections and electing a new leader. The only thing that I see here is that many people were speculating that he was going to take over from the current supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. And particularly the foreign affairs minister, who has passed on, was very crucial in terms of strengthening the bilateral relations abroad and for this country, Iran.
And I mean, when you look at the relationship with South Africa, for example, he was expected to visit earlier this year, but it didn't happen. Any reason why?
Well, when I spoke to the embassy, because earlier on, last year in December, when I got a call that he was coming and there were arrangements that SABC will speak to him on a one-on-one interview, but in February then I was told that he's not coming. At that time there were speculations whether is this because of the Middle East conflict, particularly to ensure that ahead of elections in South Africa, you don't divert the attention to all the critics of Iran to come hard on South Africa, or it was just because of the tension in the Middle East. As you know, that as I pointed out earlier on, he was playing a critical role. But we know that the Foreign Affairs Minister of Iran did visit South Africa, and she met Dr. Naledi Pandor. And it is for that reason today, Dr. Naledi Pandor also made a statement in relation to this. Let's take a listen at what Dr. Naledi Pandor had to say.
Well, our ministry and department is deeply shocked and saddened at the reports of the passing of His Excellency President Raisi of the Islamic Republic of Iran, as well as my colleague, Minister Abdollahian, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Their passing in very tragic circumstances just causes us to express our deepest condolences and sympathies to the government, the people of the Islamic Republic of Iran, as well as to the families of His Excellency the late President Raisi and the late Minister Abdollahian. We had excellent relations as the Department of International Relations and Cooperation with both the ministry, and were always received most courteously by His Excellency President Raisi. We hope that the people of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the government, and most especially the families of the two departed, will be comforted by the solidarity that we have with them and by the prayers that I know are being said by many in many, many parts of the world. May their souls rest in peace.
What a devastating story this, and Sophie, thank you so much for bringing us those updates. Then, of course, there will be quite a lot of reaction that continues to pour in, as we saw from that earlier story by Kylie Kumalo, and we'll continue then to bring you installments of this particular story. Sophie Mokoena, SABC News International Editor.